Welcome to the Tech Show. I'm Sonia Gavankar, and this week we are quarantining on the go. If you are working from home but are considering a home away from home, we have some experts to help. We have some gym tech for small spaces to keep you fit, and another gadget tries to take my money. All that and more coming up on the Tech Show. Now it's time for the latest, and we've got Fortnite drama. Recently, the wildly popular game Fortnite got an update on Apple and Android smartphones that allowed players to bypass the company's digital payment system. Payments went directly to Fortnite Studio, Epic Games, instead of Apple and Google. In response, Apple and Google pulled Fortnite from their digital storefronts and cited the update as a terms of service violation. Epic Games sued both companies shortly thereafter for what it alleges is anti-competitive behavior. Now, if you were one of the millions of people who downloaded Fortnite before it was pulled from Apple's App Store last week, then you've still got it. Apple can't remove the game from your iPhone. And iPhones with Fortnite still installed have landed on eBay priced as high as $10,000. Notably, Fortnite is a free-to-play game that's available on nearly every gaming platform. Moreover, the game can be played across competing game platforms, whether you're playing on Nintendo Switch, iPhone, PC, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Android, or Mac. You can play with other Fortnite players. In short, if you were looking for a way to play Fortnite other than on your iPhone, there are a lot of options. Given that and the high prices attached to many of the eBay listings, it's no surprise that most have zero bids. When it announced its 12-month welcome stamp program in mid-July, Barbados became one of the first of several countries in regions from the Caribbean to Eastern Europe to create programs for remote workers. The programs employ either special visas or expanded existing ones to entice workers to temporarily relocate. Other countries offering similar visas currently include Estonia, Georgia, and Bermuda. A substantial drop in these countries' tourism numbers is a key reason for the new programs. Tourism is the lifeline of the country, said Uche Skite, the U.S. Director for Tourism for Barbados. Tourism accounted for 14% of the country's annual gross domestic product in 2019, according to data published by the Central Bank of Barbados, and had a record number of international arrivals of more than 712,000. But in 2020, the number of visitors during the same months of April, May, and June were near zero. Maggie Taransky, whose hometown is Phoenix, currently lives in the Republic of Georgia. She runs a website, The World Was Here First, with her partner and rents a brand new apartment in Tbilisi for about $500 a month. They stayed there during the pandemic. She says, "I can't think of any other major city in the Western country that would be comparable. The utilities on top of that rarely go over $500 a month, and the Wi-Fi is great." Georgia is appealing, and there's so much to see and do, and we kind of fell in love with it. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Over 70 years of experience in heart and aviation, the members of the Association of Flight Attendants know the realities of the aircraft cabin better than anyone. We don't just serve drinks, we save lives. We don't just negotiate contracts, we move major policy issues like the smoking ban, no knives on planes, clean water, and safe food on board. The air we breathe matters, and we stop the spraying of poisonous pesticides. The Association of Flight Attendants. Stronger together, better together.
Most of them believe Buddhism is something for a person who died already. but it's actually not. So maybe if my music attracts younger people, it'll be a good opportunity for them to know about like the Buddhism. After I started doing live streaming or upload some videos on YouTube, I just realized that I can spread my stuff not only in Japan but to like in the world.
For most of us, last time we moved, we didn't ask ourselves, would this be the perfect place to be trapped with my family for at least 6 months? And because we didn't think about that little detail, we have to make it work now, which means our home is now an office, a school, a restaurant, and a gym. Before you start making room in your home by throwing people out of it, here are some perfect small space workout solutions in this week's Fit Tech. The Xterra Fitness Folding Exercise Bike can fold up and hide in the closet when you aren't using it. It also has a comfortable seat. The LCD window that displays your speed, distance, and other information, and 8 levels of resistance for only $139. You feel like a kid again with the Maroli Mini Foldable Trampoline Rebounder that allows you to do joint-friendly cardio at home. It comes with an adjustable foam padded railing, and it can be folded twice for easy storage. This one is $89. This portable do anything, anywhere TRX suspension trainer has multiple anchors that can be hooked up to doors, poles, beams, basically whatever you have in your home, allowing you to safely use it for push-ups, planks, squats, lunges, and more for $130. If you miss the treadmill but don't have space for one in your home, the Walking Pad Smart Walk Folding Treadmill is the way to go. It's priced at $500, but once you're done using it, you can easily store it under your couch or bed. And if you're missing your rowing class, give the Sunny Health and Fitness Resistance Rowing Machine a try. It has 12 levels of resistance that makes sure you get into a good workout. It also is super quiet, so it won't disturb your neighbors. All for just $88. We've got to take a 60-second break, but let's fill it with some burpees. Ready, set, and go. 1. Woo! Congratulations, go eat a Chris. Next up, we have lifestyle expert Lindsay Myers with us. Since Lindsay embraced remote work 2 years ago, before it was cool, she's the perfect person to talk about living the remote lifestyle. Welcome to the show, Lindsay.
Thank you so much for having me.
So back it up a little bit. When you started out, were you looking for a career track that would allow you to work remotely, or did you start working and realize it didn't require 40 hours in an actual office?
I was all about finding a career path that allowed me to be anywhere in the world that I possibly wanted to be. And I think right now that's something we're all highlighting because we've had this time period where we are all working from home and we realize we can be productive, motivated, all of these things from anywhere, right? We need the internet, we need a computer, a couple things, but you can blink your eyes and be anywhere and have new experiences. And I think that's something we're all highlighting right now, we all need.
So where do you live right now?
Currently, I'm in Tulum, Mexico.
Oh.
And it's amazing. We're here for about 2 months, but we're on a one-way ticket. So who knows? And that's what I love about the ability to work remotely. I'm talking to you right now, and I could be anywhere in the world, but I still, as long as I have the internet again, and a couple things, like I can be anywhere and still get my message across and still work and all of that. It's amazing what we can do with technology now.
It really is, and it gives us a lot of flexibility. So if we want to take the leap like you have, what should we be looking for in our new remote city?
Yeah, there's a couple different things. It obviously depends also too if you're by yourself or with a family, but safety is number one key. There's a difference between safety before coronavirus and also now safety with the coronavirus. There is a safety when you travel, right? You want to be aware of where you're setting yourself up. And then there's now safety with where the country is, how they're handling it. And that was the number one thing with me right now. Obviously, a lot of countries are not open to us traveling. We need to think about safety, number one thing. And where I am in Tulum, the Providence in Mexico, they are open to Americans at the moment. And they're taking so many precautions. I mean, they have stricter rules than we do in America. And that was number one for me. So educate yourself on where you're going with safety.
What about technology? What is easier for you? What has just really increased your productivity?
Yeah, technology is number one. When I look to book somewhere, I like to stay at least for a month at a time because I need to kind of settle in. I need to unpack and be productive, right? But before I even look at reviews of a place or anything, I message them and I say, how fast is your internet speed? It is number one for me. I have to be able to do things like right now, we're having chats over or Zoom or over Skype, having conference calls with everyone. That's what you have to do to be able to work. So I always say aim for 15 megabytes because that way you're way above. I mean, you can stream movies at about 5 megabytes on Netflix, for instance, but aim higher. You always want to have extra. You want to be able to work with your partner at the same time. You don't have good internet speed, you're gonna have to take turns to work, and that's just not productive. So internet is the number one thing. If you have your computer, again, you can work from cafes, you can work from the beach, the possibilities are endless if you have good service, have good internet, and have your computer or phone.
So let's talk about the difference between what we should be looking for as families and what we should be looking for if we're single. Is there a difference?
I think there's a little bit of difference. I think obviously when we're younger versus when we're family, we kind of need different things. If you're younger and single, you kind of want a more, maybe a more cultural vibe. You want more like the expat community maybe to be larger in a community. So I absolutely love Portugal. It's like my number one thing for singles. I think that especially Lisbon, it has so much to offer. And it has a really good community. There's so many people doing what you're doing. And Bali, I mean, everyone is in Bali at some point. I feel like you see it all over the internet. The reason is because there's so many people doing what we're doing, working remotely, but also it is so affordable. Your money goes so far in that country. Here in the United States, I love Austin for singles. I also love Charlotte and Raleigh, North Carolina. They're fantastic. Again, we're looking at community. We're looking at how strong, go towards cities instead of being kind of out in the middle of nowhere. You're gonna have better service and internet. Families, I think it's all about something that everyone can love. So I love Costa Rica for families. Have a lot of activities, a lot of adventures. And again, you can get a really cool experience for your young ones. Maybe they can learn better Spanish. Also to Kansas City, Dallas, these are the top of the United States for families to work remotely. Again, just something for everyone in the family. You have to look out for that. When we're single, we can kind of think independently when we travel. But with our families, we kind of have to think of activities and different things that everyone can enjoy.
You've been doing this for years. So what do you think is the biggest benefit in really remote work?
I mean, I highly recommend work for everyone. And I think that everyone has a little taste right now that they can work from anywhere. It is something so special. I mean, to think that you could be in a different place every month. For me, travel is everything. So I get excited. It's my happy place. They literally have proven traveling makes us better people. It makes us happier people. It humbles us. It makes us grateful.
If we're ready to take the leap, where can we go to learn more?
Yes, so come find me on Get Lost with Lindsay. It is my website as well as my social media handles, but I have lots of tips and tricks and ideas for all of you because we're all in this together, right?
You're right, we're all in this together, even though from far, far away. Thanks so much for joining us, Lindsay.
Thank you so much for having me.
Feeling off track? Get back in the race with Formula R3. Rise, rock, and restore your youth. 52% of men suffer from ED, poor circulation, low energy, low confidence, low libido. Taking R3 daily can boost free testosterone, energy, vitality, libido, while supporting the prostate, heart, liver, and kidneys. All natural ingredients: ginseng, saw palmetto berries, hawthorn berries, black maca root. Formula R3, nature's gift to men's health. Remain ready.
Ladies, it's time to dare, not go bare. Silicon Valley keeps you covered. Go bold without worrying about a slip. Say goodbye to tucking straps, unseemly panty lines, and all your wardrobe worries. At work, the gym, the beach, or a party, Silicon Valley has you protected. With concealers, covers, tapes, and more, we have a solution for any undie issue. Dress worry-free with our wardrobe malfunction solutions. Order at siliconvalley.com or at fine retailers and start living your seamless life now.
We are the dreamers.
We changed the world.
Because we don't give up.
IU can help you live your dream.
IU is an online college, so your campus is wherever you want it to be.
Take classes when you want to take classes.
You receive the tools you need at no extra cost.
Even a brand new laptop and tablet to use in school.
Call IU, then tell them your dream.
1-800-952-3595. 1-800-952-3595.
Feeling off track? Get back in the race with Formula R3. Rise, rock, and restore your youth. 52% of men suffer from ED, poor circulation, low energy, low confidence, low libido. Taking R3 daily can boost free testosterone, energy, vitality, libido, while supporting the prostate, heart, liver, and kidneys. All natural ingredients: ginseng, saw palmetto berries, hawthorn berries, black maca root. Formula R3, nature's gift to men's health. Remain ready.
Welcome back to the Tech Show. If you'd rather hop from city to city than settle in one place for a year, you're going to need a way to hook up to those video conferences that are now our lives. President of Skyroam, Eric Plam, is here to tell us about how we can have a strong, stable Wi-Fi, not just for our destination, but for our journey. Hello, Eric. Great. So tell us, what is Skyroam and how is it different than a hotspot on my phone?
Yeah, sure. So Skyroam is a device that's dedicated to be a mobile hotspot to give you Wi-Fi. And what's different about it from your phone's hotspot is, well, a couple things. One is it's a dedicated device with its own battery. So a lot of people who've used hotspots on their phones have found that their battery runs down very, very quickly. And this is not a good situation. You want to always make sure you're leaving power for your own phone. So the Skyroam hotspot, which we call the Solus, actually has a battery in it and also a power bank. So you can charge your phone when the phone dies. But most significantly is Skyroam has built-in global service. Our Wi-Fi service works everywhere in the world, about 140 countries.
You said everywhere, literally everywhere in the world?
Well, let me add a little side note to that. So just about anywhere in the world where there is LTE, our hotspot uses LTE as a backbone. So that means where there is mobile coverage in roughly 140 countries, Skyroam will work there.
That's incredible. So is this fast enough for teleworking?
It is. I think it's very important to remember that it's very hard for any mobile device to compete with your home Wi-Fi, let's say whether it's DSL or cable. But as far as a mobile device, it's speedy and it's just enough to give you access to your conference calling and all of your applications and web surfing and email. So absolutely, it can help you create a mobile office wherever you are in the world.
And it's also considered a smart assistant? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so one of our devices, we call the Solus X, has some extra features that you might find interesting. So for example, there's a camera. You can actually remotely view from a phone or your laptop what's happening on the Solus. So for example, let's say you decided that you wanted to you're in a hotel and you wanted to go down for dinner, and maybe you left one of your teenagers in the room. You could watch them and make sure they were all okay. So we built that into the device, but we also built in something called IFT. IFT is a way, it's sort of like a personal IoT system that allows you to connect various devices together. So you can do very cool things. For example, you can program the button on the Solus. When you press it, it can text your location to somebody that you designate in advance. So those are just a couple of the very cool features that we built into Solus X.
So now we don't have any excuses to miss a meeting if we know we have the Skyroam, right?
It's true. We do help with reliability and backup, so it's going to be harder and harder to dodge out of meetings.
Now this was created in a different time, if you will, when we thought we'd be traveling more. But now it's being used for our day-to-day lives when we're not traveling. Is that a difference, a major difference in how you thought that this little device was going to be used?
Yeah, it really is, Sonia. So we were very, very focused on international travel for the last few years and really have solved the problem of staying connected on the road for our customers. And then when COVID-19 hit, we really saw a different need emerge. It's really not travel so much right now, is that working from home, or as we call it, working from anywhere. So I think a lot of us found that when we started to work from home and not in the office anymore, that the capacity of our DSL and cable home connections was starting to reach its limit. And so Skyroam Solus devices can be used at your home, or the reason we say work from anywhere could be you want to go and work at a beach or in your backyard or at a park bench. And so Skyroam's work from anywhere concept has enabled people to set themselves free to work from any place they want to, not just their home anymore.
Yeah, it's exactly what you're saying. You know, we all, now that we're in our house, we still feel like we are only tethered to a certain length away from our home base. But you're giving me all these, just holding this makes me think like, oh, I could go somewhere else and still get my work done.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us where we can get one and tell us about the service.
Absolutely. So you can find us on Skyroam.com. You can also find us on Amazon.com and Best Buy. So we're at major retailers in the United States. You can order online. And our service, we have different ways to provide service. But right now, during the COVID crisis, we really wanted to help our customers. So we've lowered our data price to $3 per gigabyte, as low as $3 per gigabyte. And you can find those details on Skyroam.com.
That's great. And it's also just a beautiful product. I think the design is beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, we take pride in the way this thing looks and works.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you, Sonia.
One more short break, and then it's time for Take My Money. Don't go anywhere. Now it's time for Take My Money, where this week we go beyond sourdough starter and craft our own butter.
The magical butter machine provides a practical solution for extracting nutrients from roots, fruits, and herbs and infusing them directly into butters, oils, tinctures, and skincare products. Combining an immersion blender with a programmable thermostat and heating unit, the MB2E uses its stainless steel design to create incredible recipes and botanical infusions with little or no labor. It also comes with a reusable 190-micron Purify filter and a heat-resistant silicone magical glove, both used to remove all of the plant material from your extractions, leaving you with consistent infused oils and butters every time. The possibilities are endless.
I mean, it comes with a magical glove. That's a bit much. I just don't know that I need a whole separate contraption to do this unless you're gonna start a home business. Sorry, magical butter. I'm holstering my gun and keeping my money. Thanks for joining us this week. Follow us at The Tech Show TV and join the conversation. Tech you later.